Guys, it has definitely been a couple months, but hello, how are you? It's nice to see you again. I haven't filmed a YouTube video in a minute. However, the other day I posted a Dakota Johnson makeup look and I posted a 2-minute video tutorial, but I feel like I just wasn't as in depth and you guys wanted a full step-by-step tutorial. So I thought, you know what? Let me hop on YouTube and let me film this and make sure I include everything. We're gonna take our time, we're gonna do it and break it down step by step because it truly is such a stunning makeup look. So let's not waste any time and get right into the tutorial. The first step to any makeup tutorial is going to be our skin prep. Now this can range from you just doing your skincare or having a specific product that you like to use before you put any makeup on. For me, that product is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I feel like this stuff is honestly heaven sent. It leaves such a nice base for your makeup, especially your foundation, and gives your skin that nourishment so then you can pack on a whole bunch of different products. I like to add a good amount all over the face and very gently just blend that into my skin, not going too hard. And I'm also avoiding my eyebrows because that's what we're gonna do next and you don't want any product in there. But you guys see how that immediately gave me such a nice glow? Like my skin feels so soft. Now if you're here from Instagram, you will notice that I usually don't do an eyebrow tutorial within the videos, and there isn't really a major reason for it. The only reason I have is everyone's eyebrows are so different that I can't really tell you what to do so that your eyebrows suit you, but I do know what works for me. So if you have eyebrows that are similar to mine and you want to recreate the same shape, here's what I do. I always go in with the Glossier Boy Brow Arch pencil. This one is my favorite because it has a really thin applicator, which means you can get really good hair-like strokes. So typically I just brush my brows, and with a mirror in front of me, I literally just start adding little strokes. I typically look where I have less hair and then I add more product there. But another thing that I'm looking at is I'm trying to match the shapes because they are quite different. So I'm constantly just looking between both brows and just filling them in as I go. Like I don't focus on one brow, I just kind of do both at the same time, if that makes any sense. But literally the main focus is just small strokes, just adding extra hairs where I would typically want more hair. And I tend to extend them towards the end just to give it that like sleek look. I'm gonna wear bangs anyway, hence why I'm not too stressed about the eyebrow itself and matching it to Dakota's, because Dakota's matches her face shape. And then I just take some gel and make sure I set that into place because I don't want my eyebrow hairs to like move all over the place, which they tend to do. This is just a mini eyebrow gel from Makeup Revolution. One thing I have to mention is that I did my skin prep first and then I did my eyebrows. That is because now we can move on to skin, and that skin prep has sat on our face for like around 10 minutes. So now our face will be ready for foundation. Dakota Johnson's skin has a very skin-like finish, and I feel like the Jane Iredale foundation, this is their Skintuition foundation, is perfect for that. This is a foundation I've been using a lot actually because I feel like the formula is insane. It makes your skin look so good, trust me. And they are clean beauty, which girlies that have a lot of breakouts, clean beauty is going to be your best friend. And if you guys do want to try it, you can use my code and save yourself on your purchases. I do my foundation in a very specific way. I add a pump to the back of my hand, warm it up with my finger, and then I apply it on my face, continuing to warm that up, and then grabbing more foundation and doing the same on the other side and also my forehead. Then with a beauty blender, I just begin blending that out. I feel like warming up your foundation with your finger into your skin is what's going to give you that seamless finish. Ever since I started doing it, my foundation has never looked better, so I'm just going to continue doing that, honestly. But that's just a little tip. If you try it, let me know how you like it. I don't use a brush or anything like that for my foundation. I really just like going in with a beauty blender. A little side note is this is damp, so if you're going to use a beauty blender, put it under some water, squeeze out all the excess water, and then I like to use a paper towel just to take off any extra water, and only then will I go in and blend my foundation. If I feel like my foundation is a little dry, I like to grab the Jane Iredale hydration spray and give my face a couple spritzes and then continue blending. I really don't learn my lesson when it comes to having my hair out because why is there foundation in my hair? Oh my gosh. Now for the concealer, we're going to follow a similar process. I'm going to grab some and put some more on the back of my hand. I'm going to use a flat top brush like this. This one is from BK Beauty, the A506 brush. And I'm going to pick some of that concealer, begin blending that into my under eye with small little taps. Taking that down to around my mouth or anywhere I would really want more coverage. The reason I like doing it like this is because you can control the amount of coverage that you put on, as opposed to when you put the product on directly on your skin, you're kind of stuck with it being on there. With this, you can take it nice and slow and build up that brightness. And taking a beauty blender, I'm gonna give myself an extra blend just to make sure it's nice and seamless. And at the same time, picking up any extra product on my skin. Because her skin is so natural, you really don't want it to be too heavy of a base. Okay, so for her contour slash bronzer, I feel like it's giving very warm tones, and this beauty balm from Merit is gonna be the perfect thing. It's also pretty warm tone, it's glowy, and it's not too heavy. And again, we're gonna warm this up on the back of our hand. Pick some of that product on a brush and begin blending it on your face. A lot of makeup looks are all about control, which is why I like to use the back of my hand as a palette, because now I have all the control. It's really hard for me to apply too much of something if I'm taking it bit by bit, you know. Anyways, for her makeup look, we're gonna focus on this area right here, kind of blending it around the cheekbone. I'm gonna blend some near my temple and forehead too, and also just snatch my jaw a little bit. You can also, with any excess on the brush, just add some on the nose as well. I'm not a huge fan of contouring my nose, I'm not gonna lie, so I just like to use whatever's left from my cheek and just basically add some on. If you do notice a harsh line between your concealer and your bronzer, grab a beauty blender and lightly dab it out. This should blend them both together. And because we're doing a smoky eye, instead of using concealer to set my eyes, I'm gonna use this bronzer, and I'm gonna put some on my hand and blend that on my eyelid. This is gonna give us a much smoother transition shade as opposed to using a really light concealer. Now to set the face, I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder and grabbing some on a little sponge like this. I'm gonna rub it in and then remove any excess onto my hand once again, and then begin to tap it into my skin. The pressed powder, I really like to just focus on my T-zone mostly, because I feel like that's where I sweat the most. And the reason I like to rub off the excess into my arm is because I don't want too much product on my face once again, and this just really evens all the product on there out, so you're not left with too heavy of a powder look. I'm adding some of that pressed powder onto my eyelids as well to set those. And we are going to set our bronzer as well. I'm going to use this Sigma matte bronzer in the shade medium. Pick some up on an angled brush like that, making sure to tap off any excess. Slowly build that on top. This is what's gonna give us that gorgeous color. I like to follow it wherever I put the bronzer, so my forehead, my cheek, and my jaw. Also just kind of tapping that in. I like to grab it on an angle as well and just do my nose really lightly too. Now Dakota does seem to have the slightest hint of a pink blush, and when I say slightest, I mean very, very slight. And a tiny bit of red is going to give you that pink flush, so I'm going to use a red blush. This is from Kosas in the shade Heartbeat, and very, very lightly on a fluffy brush, kind of tap some. Do you see how pigmented that is? I barely touched it. Take off any excess and just sweep it on the apples of my cheeks, very lightly, in a sweeping motion. And that gives you the slightest hint of a blush. This is not blush blind, this is the complete opposite. You want it to be barely noticeable. And I'm gonna add a tiny bit of a champagne highlight. This is one from Charlotte Tilbury, just above where I put my blush, where the light naturally hits, to really accentuate that light. I absolutely love this base. It is so gorgeous. Now at this point, if you want your makeup to last, use a setting spray just so that base is nice and locked in. I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray. Now we're gonna move on to the eyes, which is the most exciting part. I love this Lawless Dreamy Dozen eyeshadow palette. I feel like it has all the colors that we could possibly need for this look. So first, I'm gonna start off by blending. Last time I used these two, but I think I'm gonna end up using this one instead because I feel like it's a little bit more cool toned, because I realize her eyes are a tiny bit on the cooler side. So I'm gonna pick that up on a fluffy brush, tap off all that excess, just blend that with a light hand across the eye. I'm blending that outward from the eye to kind of get that sharp line here. Now with a flat brush, I'm picking up some of that dark brown shade here and just packing that on the outer corner of the eye. And when I say pack, I mean I'm literally just tapping it in. You kind of want to give yourself an eyeliner look with eyeshadow, so I'm just following the natural shape of my eye so you get that clean cut edge. And with a fluffy brush that we previously used, I'm going to begin blending that towards the middle of the eye. Now that we have a nice base going, I'm going to begin tight lining my eye with a black eyeliner pencil, making sure it's nice and sharp. I'm going to put some along my bottom waterline and my top waterline as well. Not forgetting that inner corner. You want to make sure there's liner all around. Then on a small brush, we're going to pick up some of that black eyeshadow and begin blending that under eye. I'm actually switching to an angled brush instead because now I'm going to just give myself an eyeshadow liner by taking some black eyeshadow and giving myself a little flick at the end. And you can take that angled brush and blend some black eyeshadow over the top of the lid as well. So remember, first of all, tight line your waterline all the way around with a black eyeliner, a small angled brush with some black eyeshadow, and just begin blending. That's pretty much it. And basically just giving yourself a little eyeshadow wing. One reason that I really love this eyeshadow palette is the fact that I just did all of that with a full face of makeup and I have zero fallout. So if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will, because typically I will do an eyeshadow look first, but with this, I don't have to. But yeah, once your makeup looks something like this, you can grab a glitter shade. I typically just use my finger and put some of that on over the top of the lid. I like to add a little bit with the finger that has the glitter and then use another finger to blend it out. Now I am going to curl my lashes using my favorite curling method, which is an eyelash curler and a lighter. I typically just warm up the lash curler, put it to my skin until it feels no longer hot, just warm, and curl my lashes. This is the only way my lashes stay curled. I feel like I need to go get a lash lift so that it makes my life easier. Now, if you are blessed to have lashes like Dakota Johnson, mascara will probably do just fine. For me, my lashes are not that thick. I need false lashes. So the first step for me is going to be apply some mascara. This is the Kiko Milano Maximum mascara, but honestly, any mascara would do if I'm being honest. And I like to put this on just so that when I apply lashes, they blend together seamlessly. Not forgetting the bottom lashes, I feel like that's very important. My false lashes are strays. I can't find the packaging, but I will make sure to tag the ones I used. I know they're from NYX Cosmetics. And honestly, the only advice I can give for this is just cut down the lashes to your eye size. Typically, lashes come extra long, so I like to cut mine down. These are already cut, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stick them right on. I like to hold the mirror right here because I feel like now I can see everything. I feel like these are the perfect lashes for the Dakota Johnson look because they look real. Like, they're not too long, which I find is an issue with a lot of lashes that I buy. And then I'm gonna use some tweezers. Be very careful, use plastic if you can. Just clamp them together to my natural lash. Okay, my camera's battery died, so apologies if I'm in a little bit of a different position. Remind me to buy another battery because apparently 45 minutes of filming is too much for it to handle. But anyways, I applied the other lash. So the eyes are pretty much done. We can move on to the lips. The lip combo is very, very simple. I'm gonna go in with this Wonderskin lip liner. This is in the shade Saddle. It is the most stunning nude lippy ever, and I love how creamy it is. And I just like to follow my own natural lip shape and carve it out with the lip liner. She does slightly define her cupid's bow, so I'm gonna do the same thing. And then for the lipstick, I feel like this is the perfect shade that matches hers. Ooh. This is the Lancome lipstick in the shade Unspoken Feelings. This shade is absolutely stunning, and I feel like it works really well with this lip liner. I like to dab this on, not go too crazy, blend some out with my finger. And I feel like this combination is stunning. It's my new favorite nude lip combo, I swear. And now for what might be the most important part, okay? The bangs. This is what makes or breaks this whole look, you know what I mean? Like, she's cute without, but the bangs just do something to me, okay? I got these clip-ons from Amazon. I'll link it. And you basically just unclip them, center it, and just push back your natural hair and clip it on. Whew. Literally different person. This is like insane. Yeah, if you want this makeup look to stay on, before you put on the bangs, just give yourself another spritz of the setting spray. I'm not going to. I have nowhere to be. I'm doing this literally for the fun of it. This went on my face and it's coming right off, so I have nothing planned apart from giving you guys a tutorial, of course. But yeah, guys, I absolutely love how this turned out. Dakota Johnson is so gorgeous, and I love her makeup looks, especially like the smoky eye with the bangs. She looks so mysterious, gorgeous. Just overall, like, the inspo is beautiful. And this is one of those makeup looks that I'm definitely keeping in mind the next time I go out, because this is such a nighttime vibe, and I love the bangs. Like, you could just switch it up, you know? I look like a completely different person. Yeah, I hope this step-by-step tutorial helped. If you do recreate it, make sure to tag me. I would love to see the recreations, and let me know in the comments below what makeup look I should recreate next.